What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bills Chat halftime show as our Buffalo Bills lead the Miami Dolphins by a score of 24-10. What a half of football this has been. And I want to start with how dumb the Dolphins were at the end of the half. Thank you very much, Dolphins. You're down by 17 points. You have the ball and plenty of time, and you run the clock out on yourself and settle for a chip shot field goal. The Bills would sign up for that situation all day long. Take your field goal. We'll take the 2-touchdown lead and the ball at half. Thank you very much. Let's get into what's been going on in this game. I'm keeping an eye on chat. Let me know how you're feeling out there. This has been the James Cook Show, folks. 5 carries, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Another James Cook touchdown through the air from Josh Allen. 2 Tua interceptions. The first one by Jamarcus Ingram was just bad luck for Tua. I mean, it bounced off his receiver's chest. It went right to Ingram. But on the other side of things, the second one, I have no idea what he was looking at as he throws it right to Christian Benford. The biggest story for the Bills off the field right now, though, Terrell Bernard left with what looks like a pectoral injury. And the Twitter doctors, and I say that with respect, thigh doctor, banged up Bills are speculating it could be a pec sprain. And if that's the case, you could look at anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks to 3 to 4 months. So fingers crossed. I don't know. Yeah. If he's out for 6 weeks, do we look for a linebacker trade? I don't think so. We can talk about that. Let's just talk about that now. We know the first half's exciting. We'll get into all that, but I think a lot of people are right where Philip J. Fry is on the Terrell Bernard story. I don't believe the Bills are in a position where they need to go trade for a linebacker right now. One, who are you going to trade for here in week 2? And we're talking 4 to 6 weeks, right? Who are you going to trade for in week 2 that can come in right away and hit the ground running? The Seahawks aren't going to trade Tyrell Dodson. The Bears aren't going to trade Tremaine Edmonds. And you don't want to go sign A.J. Klein off the couch. I think Balin Spector, outside of the touchdown play where he left Cam Lewis out to dry, I think Balin Spector has been playing pretty decent. And I will say, it just as an aside, I have 2 TVs going right now. I have the Amazon Prime feed, the main TV feed, and then I also have the All 22 feed that they offer you on Amazon Prime Vision, and I have it set to 15 seconds behind. So I'm able to watch the play and then watch the All 22 right after it happens. It's pretty neat, and I think Balin Spector's been doing a bang-up job, and Dorian Williams well too. These guys are not Milano and Bernard. You got to set your expectations where they need to be. Andreessen needs reps. So you could see that. The name I'm surprised that we haven't seen mixed in yet is Nicholas Morrow. This is a guy that was a starter last year for the Philadelphia Eagles and a team captain. I would not be surprised is after this game, when the Bills get their extended bye, if we're living in a world where Terrell Bernard is going to miss extended time and not come back till late October, early November, maybe they ramp up Nicholas Morrow and they just want that extra veteran presence on the field. It's going to be paint by numbers, but let's take a moment and appreciate Sean McDermott. Holy cow. Down Taron Johnson, down Matt Milano, down Terrell Bernard, and this defense has held the Miami Dolphins to 10 points, and they've turned them over twice. Stokes in here says the third down stuff by Dorian leading to the Oliver sack on 4th down was such a chef's kiss stretch of plays. Absolutely. So on the third down play, Dorian did a fantastic job of knifing in between the guard and the tackle to blow it up, to Stokes' point. And it put the Dolphins in that uncomfortable position of 4th and 2.5 where you can run, but if the defense sells out to stop the run, you're leaving yourself open. So even though the Dolphins were averaging what felt like 11 yards per carry, they had to drop back and pass. The timing of the route got messed up, and Ed Oliver was bam right in there. I did not see who got the press on the intended receiver. A lot was happening. I was celebrating in my living room. But yes, then Ed Oliver was able to get 2 to the ground. And then the next play after that, the James Cook touchdown. Your insight helps. Thank you very much. That means the world to me. I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy coming and hanging out with you all. The McChronicle, one of our favorites, says, "Go Bills." Absolutely. Roy Collins, color me surprised. Roy, I picked the Bills to lose this game 27-21. That's not looking great for me, and I am thrilled. I'm thrilled. I love being wrong about this. I love the fact that all the reasons I didn't like the Bills in this game are still not mattering, and the Bills are continuing to own the Dolphins. But let's focus on the job is not done. The Bills right now are in the same exact situation the Jacksonville Jaguars found themselves last week. The Bills are up 14 points in Miami, and they have to find a way to close out the game. What happened to Jacksonville? Well, Jacksonville, they had a bunch of momentum go against them, and then their inexperience showed. They had Travis Etienne running in for a touchdown to put them up 17, and for all intents and purposes, put the game away. Javon Holland knocks it out, causes a fumble. Next play, Tyreek Hill, 80-yard touchdown. And then it's just the snowball started happening. This Bills group, despite being a bunch of new faces, needs to show their maturity, needs to show this is a team that competes for bigger things than week 2 victories, and needs to be able to manage this game and get out of it. And that's where I want to go to Merp's question right here. How do you expect the Bills to manage the rest of this game? Merp, I expect the Bills to stick to their game plan. Now, it seems like they came out with a counterpunch to what we saw last week against Arizona, and we were kind of on that, where don't read into the fact that the Bills were extra run heavy against Arizona. Arizona was a historically bad defense in 2023. They gave up over 2,000 yards rushing to opposing running backs, so it made sense for the Bills to be run heavy last week. They came out throwing and running, but running no huddle. It's like they were content to get into a track meet with the Dolphins, put pressure on them. I think what we will see from the Bills is still a good mix of run and pass, but I don't necessarily think you'll see the no huddle, right? I mean, they need to play the clock game too. There's no point in hurrying up at this point when you have a 2-touchdown lead in the ball. I also think, Merp, a lot will depend on what happens on this first drive. If the Bills go down and get points, whether it's a field goal or whether it's a touchdown, now you have that all-important 3-possession lead, and that's where you can kind of shift your focus to, let's keep playing our game, let's not blink, to now we really are playing against the clock as much as the Dolphins. And that's where you can kind of change your focus to be just a little bit more conservative, not give them anything cheap, be content to move the chains, so on and so forth. Troy Thomas says the Fins are so bad. So far, so bad. And truthfully speaking, if it's not for a Travis Etienne fumble at the 1-inch line last week, we're talking about a Fins team that lost at home to Jacksonville, who I think we all agree is average. And now they're getting blown out at home by the Bills. So I think there's a larger conversation there. Well, I will continue to farm our own land over here for the Bills. I am super excited for what I have seen so far from the Bills. The McChronicle says, I also got to say, the Dolphins managed the clock horribly at the end of the last drive. I agree. And, it's funny because Al Michaels was on top of it before I was even feeling it. Because at one point in time, Al Michaels was really starting to get on the Dolphins for going slow, but they were at midfield. There was a minute left and they had 3 timeouts. And I'm thinking, Al, they got plenty of time here. But man, he was all over it because 3 plays later, it's check down, check down, check down. 2 timeouts are gone. They've managed to gain 10 yards. And now they're just hoping to get a field goal. So, Troy says Tua isn't good. He was overpaid 100%. That's going to be the conversation in Miami. Look, I know we have a very distorted view of Tua because the Bills have had such success against him. I think Tua is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think Mike McDaniel is a very good play caller, but not a great game manager. And I think we saw a little bit of that in the first half where you see plays that are like, man, that play design is fantastic. And then you see game management where you're like, my 12-year-old nephew who plays Madden could have handled that situation better. And that's really where the Dolphins have to figure out, what do they have in Tua and McDaniel? Because those guys are locked up for the long term. Let's see what old Lucas says. Since the crap throw that ended with the silent goat Benford interception feels like there is zero trust to throw the ball downfield. 2 things there, Luca. There's zero trust to throw the ball downfield. And like I mentioned in chat earlier, having the ability to see all 22, the Bills are playing a deep coverage shell. They are daring the Dolphins to throw it downfield. And you are seeing Benford and Douglas bail at the snap count and just make sure they're not getting deep. I love it. The Dolphins are certainly going to come out and counter. Like, they're going to try to get some run after catch things going. They're going to try to get some short dump offs, and the Dolphins are going to make a run here. Like, let's not kid ourselves into believing they're going to finish this game with 10 points. I would be stunned. I would be elated. I would be stunned. So the Bills still need to show some offense. The Bills still need to be aggressive. I'd like to see more of Ray Davis. I think right now we are seeing the strength of this offensive line and their ability to run the ball well. That James Cook touchdown run, that might be my favorite James Cook run of his career. The way he hit the hole, I mean, it was there. It was a triple team. The hole was right there, but he went right through the hole, turned the corner, and then unfortunately for our guy, Jordan Poyer, just absolutely toasted him. And I put out a tweet from our Bills Chat podcast account that, we all know who 21 is on the Dolphins. We all love him. So we're not going to say out loud what we all saw in that play. But I think if you were somebody who questioned why the Bills would A, let Jordan Poyer go, and B, be content for him to sign with the Dolphins for a minimal contract, that play is a small sample of what we saw just a little bit too much of the last couple of years, where just a step slower than the Poyer that we'd become accustomed to seeing. So we are about at the 11-minute mark. I'm going to wrap this up here in the next minute. Let's see what the McChronicle says. Simple, just take the ball in the second half, score first, force Tua to beat you with his arm. Simple but true. I will say that's interesting. The biggest misnomer about the Miami Dolphins is that they are a pass-first team and that their offense is predicated on the pass. Everything they do offensively under the Kyle Shanahan mold is set up by their run game. Their run game is super expansive. It is very hard to stop. And the reason why there are so many open lanes in their pass game, on top of the fact that their receivers can absolutely fly, is because you have to commit more bodies to stop the run than you are comfortable with. But to the McChronicle's point, the Bills are going to, if they continue to score, get this game to a point where the Dolphins are not going to be able to stick to the run. And then I think this could get out of hand because we're seeing a mismatch right now with the Bills' interior defensive line against their guards. I do like the Greg Rousseau matchup on Austin Jackson, even though I know Austin Jackson's been playing better recently. So I think the first couple drives of both teams to start this second half are massive. I love the fact that Bills get the ball when, we all know what happens at the beginning of the second half. A lot of the fans are still in the concession lines. It's about a 50% Bills crowd anyway, but it's not going to be super loud. We'll see what adjustments the Dolphins make. I wouldn't be surprised if they just come at the Bills blitzing. I would love to see the Bills find a way to get points on this first drive. Touchdown would be fantastic. Field goal would be great. Just take some time off the clock, get some points, and just make us feel like what happened in the first half is carried over to the second. And let's just go into this beautiful football weekend already being 2-0. Luca and I will be live tomorrow night. We're doing a live show for Bills Chat, win or lose, breaking down everything from Bills Dolphins, as well as previewing the NFL football weekend ahead and the college football weekend. Hopefully by then we'll have an update on Terrell Bernard. Casey Toohill also left with an injury as well. And after that will be our podcast for this week too, our post-game show. So I appreciate you all hanging out. I love doing this every week. I will see you next Monday night on the Bills Chat Quick Chat halftime show. And Luca and I will see you tomorrow night on YouTube. Go Bills, get this done, get this win, get to 2-0, and we are all going to have a great, great day tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.